Friday Reads, Friday Reads. Filling up your social media feeds with my Friday Reads, Friday Reads. Gonna read a book for my Friday Reads.
Hello book people, PT here. Just a quick Friday Reads video to let you know what I read last week and what I'm going to be reading this week. Last week I finished up Mr. Mercedes by Stephen King. I like this book a lot. If you haven't seen it, I did post a video that was more about Stephen King in general. I think it's called Hope is Stephen King's Secret Weapon. You can check that out on this here channel. I'm gonna wait to talk about this one until I read the sequel, Finders Keepers. I'll probably do a video on both of those together. But suffice it to say, I really like this a lot, and I think it's interesting the way that Stephen King is kind of paying homage to a lot of the classic crime writers while still being very true to his style. And I'll talk more about that when I do my full video, but in the meantime I do recommend reading this book. I think it's great fun. Currently I am reading a collection of stories with one of the scariest concepts I've ever read, and that is the doll collection. They're all short stories about scary dolls. This is edited by Ellen Datlow, who is an awesome anthology editor. Basically every anthology she puts out that I've read has been really good. I remember way back reading one that was kind of based on fairy tales. It was like Snow White, Blood Red or something like that, and it was very good. And she also does the best horror of the year anthology each year, and those are great. But this one is an anthology about creepy dolls, and I'm about a third of the way through it, and it's pretty creepy so far. Let me tell you, there's some great stories in here. There's one by Joyce Carol Oates, which was particularly chilling, and yeah, there's a lot of interesting takes. None of the takes so far have been like exactly what I'd expect from a creepy doll collection of stories, but they've all been very, very creepy. So really enjoying this. If you like a little horror in your life, a little creepiness, I do recommend picking up the doll collection. And if you're like, that might be too much for me, dolls creep me out big time, maybe check out something else by Ellen Datlow. She always puts out great anthologies. The next book I'm going to be reading after I'm done with the doll collection is a book I heard about on the Get Booked podcast, which is a really cool podcast that I just kind of discovered this week. It comes from Book Riot, and it is a book recommendation podcast where they give like kind of individualized recommendations. So people will write into the podcast and say, hey, I loved XYZ book and this other ABC book, but I can't find another book that's like that, and they'll recommend a book. Or they'll be like, hey, I want to buy a Christmas gift for my brother who reads these kind of books, what do you recommend? And they give personalized book recommendations. Really good show. This book that I'm about to read, I heard of for the first time on that podcast, and I was really kind of excited when I heard the concept of it. I thought it was really cool. It's called The Caretaker of Lorne Field by David Zeltzerman. The way I understand it is the story of a guy whose family for generations has been the caretaker of this property, and it's a pretty big property. Every day they just go out and pull weeds, and that's like their whole life. All they do is just weed this property. They do it every day, and the reason they do it is because, as the story's been passed down through his family over the years, that if they do not do that, if the weeds grow too much, they'll grow into this crazy monster that's going to basically destroy the world if they don't weed this every day. Where the interesting part comes in is that, of course, there's no proof of that being true. It's just a story that's been passed down through their family. And I think the main character it's kind of like struggling with is, should I keep doing this? Is this crazy? What if this is just a crazy family story that's not true? But on the other hand, if I stop doing it and it is true, the world gets destroyed. So that's bad. That's no good. So just a really fascinating concept. I don't really know what the story is, but I thought the premise itself was very interesting. So I'm really looking forward to reading that. All right, that is what I'm going to be reading this week. I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.